Hi Faye, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining the Working Wellbeing's podcast today here at the Water Cooler. You are one of the speakers here today.
I am.
Aren't you? Can you tell me about your role? You're from the National Highways.
I am. I'm from National Highways.
Yeah, and what do you do and what are you chatting about today?
So I have been at National Highways just over 3 years. I'm their head of Occupational Health and Wellbeing. And there's me and a very small team. I have a wellbeing lead and a brand new box fresh administrator that we've got now. So there's us three essentially looking after all the health and wellbeing for our 7,000 employees across the length and breadth of England. So some of our operational staff, and we have corporate staff. So there's a lot going on at any given moment. So
and is it new that you've got a third person? Is that a new role?
I've been a minus a third person for a year.
Right.
So we lost my old administrator. There's a bit of a story. She is my best friend, and she was poached back from where I poached her from.
Yeah, it's big in the day.
Yes. So we've had an internal person who's actually come to us and took. He's mapping a new career. So he's come from operations. He's taken quite a steep cut in pay actually, but he's really interested in doing and working with us. So he is really fresh into role, really enthusiastic. So very excited about what we can pump into him, for more of a better word, of what this looks like, and if there's an interest or if there's something else that really floats his boat. But I really
love that. Didn't necessarily intend for us to speak about careers and pathways, but it does come up in our conversations, because I think there isn't a normal pathway. There might be a little bit more for occupational health specifically, I guess, because of the qualifications that are needed as part of that. But generally, wellbeing roles, you do find that people come from all different places, don't you?
And you do need every walk of life, because wellbeing is for everyone. So level of knowledge and understanding, and to be able to thrive and understand people, it doesn't matter really where you come from and what your background is, because everyone's got something to bring to that table in wellbeing. I think
everyone counts. Absolutely. So you need this. And also, I suppose what's interesting about that particular role is that you've got someone from somewhere else in the business, so you're getting that insight of like what it's like in that role.
Absolutely.
And that should be quite informative for you as well.
It's only been with us 3 weeks, and already it's been worth its weight in gold. So we do a specialist trauma pathway for our on-road teams, because obviously they're on the road and we see some horrific things. And we already had a trauma pathway that worked reasonably well, and we've shown it to him, and we've made some minor improvements and upgrade, and it's just been worth its weight in gold, because he's just gone, actually, this is what happens. This is so I go, because we don't live that experience. We're doing our best to gather the information, but not living it live. And he was a team manager, so he'd seen it all. It's been so exciting.
Oh, I really do love that. That's really quite cool. Awesome. So, team of 3, 7,000 staff.
Yep.
So you talked about corporate, you talked about operational and kind of people out on the road. Like, what's that split, and how does that break up?
So operational are our biggest customer. I think because, again, of the nature of the beast, at what that job role is. So there's about, I want to say about 3,500 to 4,000 operational staff, and then the rest is corporate, or what we used to call major projects, but we've just undergone some changes now. So we are evolving as an organisation to be fit for the future. So there's been, operations are our biggest customer. They're out on the road. They're dealing with our customers out in the front line. So they are our biggest customer and stakeholder for things that they would like to see change in the health and wellbeing space.
So how do you communicate with them? Because they're out and they're not necessarily sitting behind desks.
That is the gold of the eye. It's still trying to crack. So we did a piece of work with Arup last year. I'm trying to think what year we are in. We finished it in April of 2024, where we went out, we used our internal data, our supply data, and we used, Arup went out and did some focus groups across the organisation to try and get more information and data rich to be able to put us on a 5-year pathway of health and wellbeing at National Highways, which has been really successful. There's been lots of input. So again, HR, another key stakeholder for us. I don't sit in HR, I sit in health, safety and wellbeing.
Right.
So I have a dotted line into HR. And that was, what I was hoping to get out of that was somebody to go, oh yeah, so we don't read our emails because we're always out on the road. But if you did this would work really well. That never happened. Bitterly disappointed. but we have kept banging the drum, and I think we are starting to make inroads, but we're having to approach it from the top down and the bottom up. So we use our mental health first aiders. We use our Be the Change ambassadors. So Be the Change is our psychological safety cultural piece that they do. And we use our engagement champions as well to try and feed messages up and through. We use emails, we do webinar, everything. We throw the kitchen sink at it. But we are still, those that want to engage will. And sometimes we call them the worried well, because they are the people that really want to. It's the same familiar faces. But there's still the element that we do miss some people. So we're still working on that and trying to empower people to take a little bit more of a interest in their own health and well-being and not wait till the wheels come off. Pardon the pun, completely.
It's a terrible pun in your context. Well, not a terrible pun, but like a scary pun. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Yeah, and actually you are talking about preventative space today, aren't you?
I am talking about preventative space today, yeah. So I've got a real passion. We do mental health really well. We've done that for quite a long time at National Highways. I've just mentioned Be the Change, so that is the psychological cultural piece, which is brilliant. So that's been running for about 3.5 years, and our operations teams have really took that on. There's some 3 core values about listening with care and respect, speaking up and taking action. And that is really started to be embedded, and it is working. But there's little bits that just need to be added on, and I think we're so stuck in this reactive space, just trying to turn the dial to go. Actually, if you had these conversations with people earlier, then we don't break them, and then we don't try and bring them back too early, and we don't all the things that affect our bottom line. So I'm talking about preventative, and I'm going to be talking more about the physical aspects, physical health.
Okay.
Because we do mental health so well, and we have some really good engagement. So our EAP has 22% utilisation, which is amazing. Physical health, we have an older generational workforce. We do get people at a very young age. We have apprentices from 16. But our on-road teams seem to be the older generation. They normally come to us as a second career. So there'll be ex-blue lighters, ex-military, used to being Frontline. And they're the people that already come with potential physical problems. So hearing issues, or not necessarily the fittest. New knees and hips are the reality of the job role, but once you've done that, can you kneel down at the side of the road? Can you get out of the way of vehicles? So, and we have got a lot of people, that are being diagnosed with diabetes, heart disease,
and all those age-related things.
Yeah. So I think we need to put a little bit of emphasis, and the first year of our plan, off the back of the research we did with therapy, is very much focused on the physical health and that preventative piece of how can people be more engaged in their physical health without going, well, it takes weeks to see a doctor.
Yeah.
There is more than one option.
Yeah.
So
have you got a shape for that yet?
Yeah.
To share anything about? Because they're tough solutions.
They are. And I think I've been asked about how we measure whatever inputs we put. And it's not going to be a quick, easy win. This is going to be a baby steps sort of gentle nudge down that route, because I think people want it, but they wait until it's at a point where, I need an intervention, rather than going, well, actually, if I went to our rewards platform and took up the gym membership that I could get reduced, that would help bring my blood pressure down, it would help my waistline, it would help everything. And your mental health, it's that holistic approach, but they don't necessarily see that.
Yeah.
So it's really, really difficult. And when we do our fitness medicals for our own road teams, we do find things and they get quite upset about it. And we're just like, well, this is preventable in the vast majority of cases. So we want you to go out and find a solution.
Yeah. So you've sort of touched on a couple of things there. Well, first of all, the particular demographic that you're working with, and we know, don't we, that's it's different to the sort of new generations coming into the workforce, who are perhaps a little bit more aware about their physical and mental health and fitness. But so you're sort of coming up against that cultural piece, aren't you? And with that, the readiness piece, and I'm with you around, organisations have a certain responsibility, don't they? But people need to also meet in the middle. It is a marriage.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, it's also unrealistic for us to expect everyone to be ready.
Absolutely. Everyone's at different parts of that linear time, and what we tend to find is, as with most companies, is once someone starts talking about an activity that they've done and has really helped them, other people then start to go, because it's not me telling them, it's not, an exec telling them, it's a peer talking about their experience of what's happened to them. So we do always see a peak when we've had those kind of interactions. It's just maintaining those types of things for them, and because fitness is again not a quick fix. So, but we try not to say we say activities rather than we want you to be physically active. We don't we're not asking you to go and chuck weights around like The Rock, but you could go and have a walk in your lunch break, or you could go and do this. And I think they think it doesn't make a difference, but it makes a massive difference. The consistency, and also again for up here as well as for that physical piece for them.
So you're planning to use, do you think you'll be tapping into, there's been a bit of chat about AI tools, and I know there's some good blends between the AI and sort of MSK solutions at the moment emerging. Any interest or capacity for kind of using anything like that, or not ready yet?
We haven't really looked at it. It is coming in, our digital services are looking at it, and I'll be interested to see what else is at the show around that today. I think we struggle to get people to download an app. So and again, I think a generational thing. Those that want to will seek it out and use it, whereas others will be like, what is this dark arts, black magic thing that appears to be knowing everything I do? So I think it will, as it develops, will have a place, and I think it would be remiss to not use that and get your data sources from it. I think the take-up will be a much more longer-term future thing for us rather than in the immediate future.
Yeah, okay. So anything else about today, anything else you're kind of looking for in terms of services and
it's always nice to go and have a look. So I've spoke to a few people, and they're always really keen. And then they look at your name badge and they go, and then they see that you're public sector and go, you have no money.
Yes.
And you go, well, I have some. We
some for the right things.
Absolutely. And I am really, really blessed with National Highways because my predecessor is actually here. She's at Cadent now. We were chatting about that. It's a quite small lot. Rebecca. So we're a really small community in occupational health. And we're ever shrinking because, again, the older workforce are retiring. There's nothing coming through on the pipeline. But, I picked up the mantle from her, and we've really run with it. So we've got a great business case, and we've always got, touch wood, we've always got the cash. So this year I've got money for projects, and I've also got funding for occupational health and REOP. So we just have to be really specific. And now the business case is so much more intense. The scrutiny of it is so much more intense. And I have been asked, if you had to prioritise it, what would it look like if we had to take some of your funding back? So that always plays in the back of my mind, is actually which projects are going to give us the most value for money across the board. And actually, I know halfway through the year, they're going to go, do you have any money to give us back, Faye? And I'm going to go, yes, maybe. So, and because of the nature of what we do, I am merely a facilitator. And I ask others, within operations, I'm going, I will help you drive this through, but this is for your community, so I need you to take the lead.
Yeah, and that's where the champions come in.
And this is about the appetite for it. So we went to operations and said, we've got these things for you this year. And the exec director there, Duncan Smith, he fabulous. He's really come on board with Wellbeing. He's a Be the Change champion. He really puts it through our exec as well. It's like, he spoke to his heads and his regional directors and gone, actually, this is something we want to do, but we want to look at it in terms of what can we do internally before we go out and have a look. And actually, we can't fundamentally change everything. So what does that look like? So I'm having to give a really big overview. Some of it's guesswork because who knows, but from what we've got anecdotally and from the research that we've had is we know that there are some small changes, small ones that would cost virtually nothing, that would actually make a workplace slightly better for operations. It will help them to thrive. And it will also give us a standard, because at the minute we don't necessarily have standards for everything. So we are consistently inconsistent with some of our workspaces and some of our processes. So we are working on that consistency. So whatever they get in the Northwest or Yorkshire Northeast is the same as what they get in the Southwest or the Southeast. So
yeah, I really like that approach to kind of be really clear to operationally that, like, here's some things I can offer you and we can help support you on, but it's putting it in there.
I've got to want to do it. Absolutely.
It's really, really important, isn't it?
We are so small
Yeah.
that, we cannot spread ourselves too thinly, otherwise we will burn ourselves out. And that's not.
Yeah. Plus, as you said before, you need the operational insight or the insight from the divisions to understand how that is.
There's no point in going in there going, we're doing this fine because I know it'll work, and I don't know it'll work.
Yeah, well, it won't land that well, will it, with the end users, with the customers, because they won't feel that you can necessarily relate.
And change is a massive thing, and whenever you change something, people hate having it done to them. So it's that communication piece about, actually we did come out and actually this is what it looks like now. This is what we're going to do. Would you like to be involved in this? We're going to launch it. And people, when they're involved, even if they don't have ultimate control, to have the knowledge and that feeling of control because they know what's happening and how it will work for them, you tend to take, a lot of that worry out of it, so you get some great engagement.
Yeah. You mentioned before the EAP having good engagement. Yes. Have you got any idea why that is and what's happened and how?
We have...
asking for a friend. I also work in-house, so yeah.
So this is the first place I've ever worked at where the EAP has utilisation. 2% that I had to ask when I came. I was like, did you say 22? And I'm like, yeah. And that is the full plethora of what. So we use Health Assured.
I was going to ask, are you happy to share it?
Yeah. We partner with Health Assured. We have done it since 2020. They also run our trauma for us, so our trauma process. And their offering has grown, but they are such a great company to work with. Our client relationship managers are really engaged with what's happening for us. Really good relationship as well with the clinical side, so they can input, especially if we have really difficult cases and things that sit outside of our contract. So sometimes we may have people that come to us with PTSD or witness other items that do trigger the PTSD. So we use the normal EAP for your everyday counselling, CBT, the city sessions, but we can also offer additional services to those who are really in need and who can't necessarily access that through an NHS route. Yeah. And actually, if somebody is triggered by something they've seen or been through at work, the duty of care piece is that actually our responsibility is to make sure that we're trying to cause no harm. So we really want to ensure that individual gets all the support that they can. So we use EMDR practices and other enhanced CBT techniques where needed. And we have some fabulous results. Anyone who works in this industry will tell you that normally you only ever hear the bad side and somebody's not had the greatest experience and it's not been what they expected. So when we do get the emails from individuals that have gone, thank you so much, this has worked for me, this has given me back my life, that for me is exactly what I do this job for. So it's special when you get those.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's like it just takes one sometimes, especially when there's such a big workforce to be supporting. Sometimes it can be a bit disheartening, can't it? Or when you're seeing low engagement rates in an activity, but it does just take one. Yeah. It literally takes one story, one little email, one interaction. Yeah. And that is also, in a way, and it's a tough pill for organisations to swallow, because I am on board with like the return on investment and seeing results through metric data. Yeah. But at the same time, I also believe that even if it is just one person, that's what matters, because it's about meeting people's need. Yeah. And if that's only one person that really, really needed it,
sweet. It justifies everything you do.
Yeah.
And we are going back to what you asked me originally, is that relationship with Health Assured. So quarterly we do know your EAP. Every year we run an activity challenge.
Yeah.
And Jane McGee, who works for me, awesome. She's been with us 7 years. Nobody else is allowed to have her because she's mine. And she is the most fabulous human. And
Is this your wellbeing lead?
She is my wellbeing engagement lead. She is, she's awesome. And not only she's a really great friend now, really great work colleague, and so passionate. And it shows with everything she does. And she sets up all these different things. She does all the webinars, but the activity challenge. So over the summer, because people are in and out of work, we do an activity challenge. And as part of that, we usually do a photo competition. So we give gifts out for photos when they're out doing activities and interesting stories. And we've incentivized it now. So we've brought on board our rewards team. So we're able to give out high five vouchers, which is our recognition service. And that activity, we use leader tables on the Wisdom app, which is a Health Assured app. And by stealth, essentially, we get people signing up. So last year, Health Assured asked us if we would write a piece for them because we had over 1,000 people sign up in a 3-week period to do the activity challenge. Wow. And in the last, so where are we now? May. So in the last 4 months, we've had another 150 people sign up and we haven't even started the activity challenge yet. And we don't download that app onto our works phones for them. It is up to the individual whether they download it or not.
So how are you getting them to do that? Because we also work with Health Assured, so
we just communicate it. We have a really good working relationship with our internal communications team. Yeah. So it's all planned out a year in advance. And again, we do run up to it. Mm-hmm. So like last year, it was all about the Olympics and all the different sports you could do. So we try
kind of made its way into culture a bit as well now. Yeah.
People are always like, are we doing the activity challenge? Are we doing? And they know it as an activity challenge, not a step challenge, even though it does boil down to step. Yeah. So, and we've got people who do Ironman triathlons, right? So obviously they are like always at the top, always without fail. So we give out awards for those people who are at the top. Yeah. But we also do we randomly pick out of each directorate and division, so everyone gets a chance. So even if you're at the bottom, we have people who've got limited mobility and only do certain things. So we reward the taking part piece, and a little bit of healthy competition works really well. Yeah. And
I also really like the fact that it's just kind of good use, creative use of quite a simple, I know the widget you talk about within Wisdom, and it's quite simple piece of tech, isn't it? But
it is. And we fed back saying we need more data out the back end for this. And they've made those adjustments. So we can now get that data and we can see what people are doing. And it's interesting to see, and people feedback, and that the plethora of data that you get from people and just their stories. And again, we go to people do really interesting things. Last year we had someone who essentially clings from bits of rope into massive caverns in Derbyshire. And she sent this picture, and it is the most beautiful. She won one of it's beautiful, this picture. We were just like, that's stunning. So she wrote us a piece about, how she got into this activity and why she does it. And everyone's like, oh.
And it's
always the wellbeing pieces that get the most hits on our internal.
Is it? That is interesting. So you look at your metrics and web views and all of that. Yeah, those people love hearing about people's stories, don't they?
And it gives people, that nudge that maybe they want to try something, but they don't know how. And this person's going, well, I've done this, this, and this. So it's really helpful for them.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I do find, so I don't mean for this to be a Health Assured advert, but because I do also work with them in my in-house job, I do find them very responsive. Like if you want some more of some information, they find it for you, or they add in that measure if you want to. They're good in that respect, aren't they? You're welcome, Health Assured.
Yes, absolutely.
For the plan.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to wrap up, but I do have one good question. You just mentioned then a female colleague in her physical activity, and I'm making a bit of an assumption that you've probably got quite a male workforce. Yeah. So what does the women's health kind of outreach and support look like? And that is because I'm on a bit of a women's health in the workplace campaign at the moment. So just curious.
So we do have a heavier male leaning aspect, but we have a load of networks. Mm-hmm. So we have a women's network. Yes, Leading Women it's now, but it changed its name. So Leading Women is a massive network, and they are exceptional at bringing things. So we've had Over the Bloody Moon, who brought the Menno vest in, and our operational director, Duncan, wore the Menno vest for the day, and probably deeply regretted his life choices quite quickly. But they're really open, and we have networks that support endometriosis and menopause. We have a fertility and that all. There's so many people who want to bring so much, so we actively encourage it. And I did back end of last year, I did a women's health piece. So we partner with, through Rewards, a health provider, but they couldn't do it, so I did it. And rather than talking about the physical aspects, I talked about how to get the most out of your GP, what it feels like to be ghosted or not believed about your symptoms.
That's a really good topic.
And actually how to go to your doctor. Actually, I don't think you're listening to me. What do I do?
Advocating bit.
And how to advocate for yourself, and how to go, actually, I want to go and see another GP. For me, I just went, they are merely service providers. If you do not get the service you want, you go somewhere else. And I think people don't realise that that's an option for them. So and we got loads of feedback about that as well. And I covered stuff that wasn't necessarily always covered. So, I'm trying to think what we did. So Vicky Patterson suffers with a menopausal hormone-related disease, about periods, about how heavy they are, PPD. So I spoke a little bit about PPD and the effect that has and how debilitating it is, both physically and mentally for individuals. People like, we've never spoke about this. So it was just the spark. We had over 150 people on that call, mainly women. Yeah. But again, line managers who were like, oh, let's see how we can support people. So it's an amazing organisation, National Highways. It's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, and I probably will never be out of a job. But there are so many willing people that want to listen and to help, that it's a nice challenge to have, because there is always people on your side to come and support you.
Yeah, I love that. It sounds like you and your team are doing a really, really great job.
To be so.
Yeah, it really does. And well done on kind of broadening that women's health conversation as well, because I think there's so much progress in particularly in menopause. Yeah. And there's still loads more we can do, isn't there? But I do think it's also good to have those other subjects and themes coming up, because, well, they can be quite heavy, aren't they? And they're very ongoing for women. Awesome. Well, I am going to have to wrap up there, but it's been so nice to chat. I wish we had more time, and perhaps we'll get you back sometime. That'll be I feel like there's lots of little things that you mentioned that I've got more questions on. So, we'll do a bit of a wrap up on the episode as well. And thank you. Make sure that you and your team join the community. Well, and we'd love to hear more. That's because there's 3 of you. Yes. Thanks for your time, and good luck with your session.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for listening to the podcast. This episode is brought to you by Wellhub, the corporate wellness platform transforming how companies care for their teams with a single subscription. Get an exclusive free trial using the link in the description below.